Hi everyone, we are going to have a look at the game of Praggnanandhaa versus Caruana. This happened in the 5th round of the Norway Chess. Well, here I'm actually doing reviews on the game videos, but today Abhyudaya, who's there in Norway, hasn't been able to send the video footage. So I thought I'll do this recap, and when the video comes, I'll also do the commentary. Uh, this game is truly unique for me in the sense that Praggnanandhaa is able to outplay his much more experienced and esteemed opponents, like here world number 2 Caruana, from slightly better endgames. How is he able to do that? I think he has this ability to grind. So I want to show you the end game and maybe focus a bit more on it than the openings. In the opening, it was a well-known line in the Catalan, the open Catalan that was played. Prag is white, Caruana black, takes, queen a4, a6, takes, b5. And if you look here, the main move is rook d1, defending the pawn, but he went knight d2, giving up the d4 pawn. So take, bishop takes, and knight e6, an intermezzo. But this is well known. Knight d5. So the resulting position, black has a small weakness on e6, but gets the open f file. Knight f3, queen e8, rook d1. And now the ideas are rook takes, pawn takes, queen e5. So Prag goes queen e4 and now tries to break on the queen side. Fabiano offers a queen trade. Prag takes it. Take. And you will see that these positions generally end in draws, against a player of Caruana's caliber. And that to look at the time Caruana has. He has 1 hour 21 minutes. Rook a1. First taking the open file. Just learn from Prag. Yeah, he wants to come here. Rook a8 played. Now rook d1. So just asking this question, if you take here, I will take the open file. If you don't, then I will take here and then your knight is in trouble. Okay, so the knight goes back. Now Prag plays this little move b3. Actually, this move is not at all easy to make. And for me, it felt like this move would sort of allow c4 at any point. But when you are black, you don't want to make a move like c4 lightly, because in such positions, you might lose this pawn and then it is 4 versus 3. So for now, Caruana plays it normally, knight e4. Now the rook goes in because the bishop is protecting the rook here. Bishop f6, he takes, knight takes, rooks are traded, and rook c7. So white has a slightly more active rook looking here. Knight comes in, white goes in here. Now definitely you can't move your rook because it's a checkmate on the last rank. So rook e8. Maybe a small inaccuracy. Here b4 would have been much stronger. Yes, you are giving up this square, and also f3 is a irritating move to deal with, but then you have rook e8 at this point. And if you go knight d3, then after knight c3, e2 has become quite weak here. So this were possible, but he went rook e8, knight came here, knight d2 by Fabi, takes, and takes. So we reach this position with 3 versus 2. Now, the fun thing about this position is that you remove the rooks, it's a draw. You remove the knights, it's just the knights, it's a draw in rook endgame. If you remove all the pieces, it's winning for white in the pawn endgame, but that's never going to happen. So Prag first takes the 7th rank. By the way, by now Caruana's time is at 39 minutes. That's still a lot of time. Knight f6, rook a7, king f3, and now offers a trade of rook. I thought Prag will never exchange it, but he took. Okay, plays his knight here, king comes up, king moves to the center, knight. So he slightly pushed black back and now starts pushing his pawns. Again, this method is very useful to know that if your king is 1 square diagonally opposite to the knight, then the knight cannot check it easily. h6, g4, knight d3, knight f4. And now Caruana lashes out. Prag takes, king takes. Yeah, also possible here was to take here, but then after knight d5, white is winning. because here this pawn endgame is won. But after g5, you cannot really check, because after take there is gh4. So let's say check here, here there is gh4, and now you need to rush back in order to stop this from queening. And oops, king g5, there's king g3, sorry. Yeah, the main point being that h2 there is f4 check, first pushing him back and then taking the pawn. So you must begin here with h2, king here, and king g5, f3 and h5, and then it's a draw. Okay, so he went g5 takes, king takes, f3, knight c6, knight check, king f6, knight d4, check, king g3, f4, and now the position is still completely drawn, but he's slowly bringing his king in. Now the king is active. Check. And now came the important moment, because here Caruana has to make the only move to hold the draw. Maybe you can pause the video and find. And by now, if you look at Fabi's time, he's come down to 8 minutes. So you see, it's the grind is not only about the position and making good moves, but also pushing your opponent on time. By the way, Prag's time is just 41 seconds. So in that sense, Prag was even in more time trouble. King f6, the blunder in the game. He had to play king f7. And the important point is that you keep the f6 square free for the knight. So if check, if knight f5, check, king here and king g6, black is fine. But the moment he went king f6, now came this pretty move, knight f5. And I think what Caruana missed here, okay, firstly, here h5 is met with g5. So he moved his king. King g6 also does not help, because it allows white king to come in, and somehow this knight is totally dominated. So king e6, and now this king d4. Just very cool move. The king cannot come here. I mean, square is controlled, so has to go back. Then I take more space. Actually, king d5 here does not work. Yeah, correct. Because of h5. And g5 there is king f5. So this is something which now Prag had to spot this move, knight h6. Very important move, because king d5 seems natural, however fails to h5. I was thinking about it, but knight h6 is the move, g5 and take, and this is a winning king and pawn endgame. So he had to move his knight, but now it's completely winning. So you can see how in a matter of couple of moves, Praggnanandhaa completely turned it around. And here Caruana resigned. So a beautiful game by Prag. I must say that I was super impressed by his patience and his ability to not give up. Because many times in such games, you feel like, oh, my opponent is Fabiano Caruana. He is not going to make any mistakes. And, I don't think I can win here. But Prag kept that fire going, which is very important. I want to show you some pictures before we call it a day. So here are them. So this is Prag, very focused. These are pictures by Steve Bonhager. Then we have Magnus also winning against Firuza, a very instructive endgame. Maybe I'll make a separate video. I've already made a short on it. You can check. This is again a very nice shot of Prag. And yeah, this is one very nice from both Prag and Caruana. See. With this win, actually, Praggnanandhaa has moved up to 2754.7. So he's world number 10 now. And he's quickly moving up, closing in on Wei, Wesley, and Gukesh. And also, in the tournament, he is leading. He's at 8.5. He's on third position. Leading is Hikaru and Magnus, 10 and 9. Prag's sister, Vaishali, is leading the women's section with 10 points. That's just brilliant. And with this, by the way, Prag's victory, India now has 3 players in top 10 and Vishy at number 11. So it's just brilliant how Indian chess is moving ahead strongly. And yes, I will try and cover this game through a video as well whenever we get it. But for now, guys, thank you all for following it. And let's hope that Prag is able to win the Norway Chess, which is not going to be easy considering that he's battling against guys like Carlsen and Nakamura. But I think Prag is now has reached that league where he's also fighting on equal terms.